Okay, what's up guys? This is Demkeys and you are watching uh sorry. Uh what's up guys? This is Demkeys and you are watching the Fight the Cannons devlog. We are currently on day 69 and as usual I have done a terrible job of vlogging. So yeah, we are pretty much at the end of the project. Today I finally fixed what is hopefully the only bug in the game. Actually, no, there's one bug relating to audio as well. I'll take care of that a little later. For whatever reason, when I minimize the editor and maximize it again, the audio just switches, and the same thing happens in the build as well. So I need to take a look at that. The bug that I fixed today is, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with this. Just basically this coroutine, when it is running, this coroutine runs when the player has been burned. It's basically a burn effect, so the player's health is gonna decrease for the next few seconds. And for whatever reason, when this coroutine is running and the player dies, that means the player's HP becomes 0. The player doesn't actually die. So the end pause menu, the end menu that shows up, which lets you decide whether you want to go back to the main menu or you want to retry, that menu never shows up. So basically the level just never ends. All I had to do was add a flag that checks if the player is alive, and if the player is alive, then actually reduce the HP. I just did this and the bug has been fixed. I'm hoping that this fixes the bug. So far, based on the multiple tests that I've done, the bug hasn't showed up again. So let's hope it remains that way. If the bug shows up again for whatever reason, that means this is not what was causing the issue. And in that case, I'll have to find out what exactly was causing the issue. But yeah, so in the project, now I don't remember at what point I had done the last vlog, as in how much progress had been done. But you know what, I'm gonna start the game and just show you what it looks like now. Yeah, give it a few seconds. Okay, there it is. So you probably cannot see it, it's a little out of the camera's view, but down here there is text. I don't want to move the camera right now, but yeah, you can see this sort of glowing text down here. So there's that, plus there's Fight the Cannons. We finally settled on a, well, this isn't exactly a different font for the text. In Blender, when I was creating the text, there was a certain setting that allowed me to make the text less detailed, and the very last option, I guess, in that setting is what made the text look like this. And that gave me the idea that, you know what, why not just use this, because it kind of suits here. So we decided to go with this. And yeah, so this is the title scene. I still need to change this text because I think the spelling of cannons is wrong. So I'm gonna look into that later. When you hit space, you have the main menu. We recently added these buttons. These are 3D models that the camera is looking at, and then you have the UI. That's I believe it's a screen space overlay UI. So I've set it up. I've positioned the buttons properly. These buttons are actually in world space, so I kind of had to figure out the location for the UI buttons. It's a good thing that this game is not It doesn't support multiple resolutions. We are sticking with one resolution, which is 1024 by 768, or this would have actually been an issue using 3D models for the UI buttons. So yeah, let's take a look at level 1.
Round 1. Gonna take it easy on
There's the audio. Oh. So this is level 1. Okay, stop. Okay, so I don't know if the audio was there in the. I think it was there in the last clip. Maybe maybe the voice clips weren't there. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, we have Glow has done the voice clips, and he has also done certain effects like when the player dies, when the player gets hit with a cannonball, and me and Glow worked together to create certain sound effects like well, pretty much all the sound effects in the game we have made ourselves. So yeah, there's that. Next, what else is there to show you? I might have to do this in multiple clips. Hopefully not, but yeah, I think there might be something that I might forget, and so I might have to turn on the camera again and just record that. So yeah, I have recently been working on performance optimization as well. While it was fun being reckless with the project, not worrying about performance optimization and all, when we tested this game, not through the editor, when we tested an actual build on a lower end system, lower end being it's either a dual core or a Core 2 Duo processor, and I don't know, maybe 2 GB of DDR2 RAM, and I don't remember which graphics card it was, maybe a 500 series or a 600 series. But yeah, basically on that system, the first few levels were fine, but then as more and more cannonballs started getting added, and the number of cannonballs in the scene at any given time increased, we started seeing drops in frame rate, and by the time we reached to the 10th level, the frame rate was just horrible. So I had issues with that, and so I decided to look into performance optimization. I didn't really do anything special, just regular stuff like draw call batching, light mapping. I also found out that there was an extra directional light in the scene, which after disabling, literally you see this batch's number over here. Let me show you in level 10. Okay, ignore the, okay, wait. Yeah, so you see this number here? This was literally double before the performance optimization, double or maybe more. So yeah, after applying the performance optimization, we tried it again on the lower end system, and it seems to be running smooth. So yeah, I learned a little bit about performance optimization. That was fun. What else? I'm really not sure what else there is to. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure how to show this, and I'm not even sure if I showed this in the last clip, but I'm gonna show it right now. Okay, so at a certain point, you can get invincibility. You'll have to excuse me because I'm playing and talking at the same time. But yeah, you'll notice these rocks around the camera. The squares around the camera, initially they are orange, and at a certain point they turn purple. So this is invincibility. This is basically an overlay that we added just so that we can change its color to show that the player is invincible. And let's go into just a minute. Electric gets introduced in level 2. Okay, so electric and ice, both these cannonballs give you the stun effect. So I'm just waiting for Okay, there it is. So when you get stunned, you'll see this spiral come on top. This basically tells the player that they are stunned. And when the player is stunned, the player cannot move. Speaking of being stunned, I had to add many validations for the animation and for for the animation code and for the actual attack and movement code, just to make sure that when the player is stunned, the player cannot move, and also the animation doesn't happen, because the animation is actually being controlled through a different script. So I don't think I got a chance to show you the animation of the character. Just a minute. I need a little less disturbance in the level, so I'm just going to modify this dataset. This is just a debug dataset that I created in case I need a custom level. So that's this kind of a situation where, for example, I need the cannons to not attack at all. So here it is. Oh, just a minute. I need to disable the spikes. Okay. Alright, so this is what the animation looks like. It's nothing special, just changing the position to show that the player is going back or front, and this is what the attacks look like. I was thinking of adding a sort of trail each time the player attacks in any given side, but then given the amount of times the player could possibly attack in any given direction, or let's say given the number of times that a player could possibly attack in various directions in 1 second, I didn't want those particle systems to add on to the load that the game is already putting on the system. So that's why I decided not to do anything, not to create the sort of swish particle effect. But yeah, currently the player is in idle position. If you want to see what the player actually looks like, this is the player. So yeah, and this is what the animation looks like. And I actually learned a lot about many things. Creation of a model in Blender that is going to be used in Unity. Things like what exactly happens when a model is imported into Unity, what is an avatar used for, and many other things. So yeah, this was really interesting. I'm not sure if okay, I need to apologize if I'm repeating certain things that I already said in the last clip. I probably should have watched the last clip before turning the camera on, but since it's on already, I'm just gonna say one last thing before turning it off. I'm not sure if I had fixed this bug in the last clip or not, but yeah, now that bug has been fixed. The bug is basically, let me go into, okay, hold on. I'm gonna change the shoot rate here and change the HP. Okay, the HP is fine. So I'm setting it up so that the cannons have really low HP. And yeah, so notice the cannons when they get destroyed. Oh shit. Okay. Just ignore the fire cannonball and notice the cannons, what's happening to them when they get destroyed. So these cannons, they are all breaking into pieces, right? Okay, hold on. Let me just start level 2 and pause. Alright, so this is a cannon right here. Currently it's not, each of these pieces does not have a rigid body attached to it. But when the cannon gets destroyed, then I spawn another prefab of the cannon. That's another version of the cannon, and in that version I've actually separated the pieces from each other, and some of them have rigid bodies attached to them, and of course colliders as well. And then through script I'm using a method called, I think it's called add explosion force, that basically adds a force in multiple directions. And I'm adding it, I don't remember where exactly I'm adding it, that's somewhere in the script. I think I'm adding it to the center itself, and that's what causes the pieces to just fly apart. And shortly after that, even that game object gets destroyed. What else? I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't think I had done this in the last clip, but yeah, this is what our level looks like now. The player doesn't actually see anything outside. This is what it looks like outside. It looks kind of dark because I disabled the directional light. By the way, through performance optimization, I learned a whole lot about, you know, how many different things work, like things that I had no idea about before. And also I learned how to take certain things into account, like for example, you know, don't have unnecessary lights. I know it sounds kind of silly. Sorry, it sounds kind of silly that I didn't really take this into account before, but yeah, I learned through my mistake. So yeah, why did I pause the game? Oh yeah, I already explained what I had to explain. So yeah, this is what I have to show so far. We are pretty much in the testing phase. One bug I already mentioned. There were actually multiple bugs that showed up during the testing phase, and solving those or fixing those bugs, that was that was an interesting adventure of its own. Stuff like simple stuff like for example, once the player dies, this menu shows up, but instead of resume, it's going to say retry. What was happening was when the player dies and this menu shows up, if you hit escape, the text starts changing. The menu is still active. It's going to remain active because the player is dead. So you're not supposed to be able to disable this menu. But I forgot to add the validation in the code that if the player is Alright, so sorry about that. My camera storage is full, so I had to free up some memory, and even now I only have a few minutes to talk. Well, that the camera shutting off actually gave me a chance to take a look at the code, and so yeah, as I was saying, in the code I had to check if I basically added a validation that only changes this text if the pause button has been pressed and the level is not ended. But if the level has ended, then it's nothing is gonna happen. So right now this works. Let's wait for the player to die. Okay, this is gonna take some time. Let's go into level 10. And now once the player dies, you have this menu, and now I'm pressing escape and the text doesn't change. Also, you'll notice this menu actually showed up, so that fire cannonball bug is not there anymore, so that's awesome. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If I remember anything more, oh, now see, this is gonna happen a lot. I'm gonna say, but yeah, that's it, and then I'm gonna remember something else. Luckily, I remembered this before turning off the camera. So I added some more code to well, added some more code. No, I basically set up mechanism for these HP bars. These HP bars are children of each of these Cannon game objects, and so their rotation is, it changes along with the cannon's rotation, and the cannon is rotating while trying to look at the player. So earlier, if you look at one of the previous clips, the cannons, the HP bar for some of the cannons, uh, those HP bars, they had a weird rotation to the point that you couldn't actually see some of the HP bars properly. And now I've set it up so they're all just pointing in one direction constantly, which is the global forward direction. And so now we don't have that issue. But yeah, that's it. If I remember anything more, I'll turn on the camera again. The good news is we are close to the end of the project. I'll see you guys soon. Alright, so you'll have to excuse me if the camera is a little shaky. I'm actually holding the tripod in my hand. I just wanted to say that even though this project did run a little longer than it was supposed to, and it ended up delaying the progress of APV1, I'm actually glad that we did this project because I learned a lot from the project, and I'm pretty sure Glow learned a lot as well, and we'll be able to carry this knowledge into the development for APV1. So yeah. Okay, so I was watching one of the clips that I recorded previously as in still day 69, but I noticed that I started explaining this bug that I was talking about, but eventually that explanation turned into an explanation of how the cannonball, or how the cannon, sorry, is actually breaking apart. Sorry about that. What I was trying to explain is the bug that I was talking about was actually the bug that I explained to you in one of the previous clips. It was a bug relating to the mesh collider. Basically, these pieces, when the cannon breaks into pieces, now I'm using box colliders on all of those pieces instead of mesh colliders, because trying to spawn game objects with mesh colliders attached to them, it was causing the editor to crash, and it was even causing the build to crash. It's some sort of bug in Unity that they're currently working on fixing. So yeah, sorry for taking my explanation in a different direction. But yeah, just wanted to clear that up.